Hold up. Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
A potential fight is in the works. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo getting into it over social media. Let's talk about it.
So, Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson have been going back and forth. Basically Shakur calling T a little man. Teofimo Lopez telling him, hey, this little man is going to beat you down, so on and so forth. And listen, very recently we did a video on Shakur Stevenson where we basically said he was going to win the fight in a very boring fashion. Oh, man, were we wrong? We were right about some things, but we were wrong about it being boring. Shakur Stevenson showed out. He actually stood his ground. He fought, and it was an exciting fight. And that's where we won because that's what we've been asking for. Again, we predicted Shakur was going to win. So there's nothing changed there. But we were wrong in the fact that he was going to make it a boring, long night. Don't get me wrong. It went the distance, sure. But honestly, Shakur's never been a phenomenal finisher. So it's not like we were going to see him some sort of miraculous, phenomenal knockout. And in fact, another thing that we were right about, he actually did get caught quite well to the point where he was rocked, looking like he might be going down. He didn't, to his credit. But it was looking like he might go down for the first time in his career. Regardless, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about him and Teofimo fighting. Now, the reason I brought that up is because, listen, the reality of the circumstances is that I'm not so down on Shakur Stevenson as a fighter anymore. He showed out. He did well. He did phenomenal. He brought an interesting fight that I would want to watch again. Now, Shakur did say, don't expect for me to fight like that again, but I'm not going to hold him to his word. He did show out, and I'm sure he's going to be getting a lot of positive reinforcement to fight like that again because he did great and he still won the fight, proving that you don't need to be a boring and slow fighter and just wait out round by round by round. So I'm hoping that Shakur sees the positivity in that, and if a fight between him and Teofimo Lopez does in fact come together, Teofimo Lopez and him get it on. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm still going to pick Shakur. Whether he fights super defensive and boring and slow and blah, 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 or he fights aggressive, I'm going to pick Shakur Stevenson. The reason I'm going to pick Shakur Stevenson is a number of things. First of all, Shakur Stevenson never fails to bring a good performance, whether I'm fond of the way that he does it or not. Even in his boring fights, he's crisp. He picks his punches well. He is very, very defensively inclined. He does all the good things that you'd want to see a fighter do. Now, Teofimo Lopez, on the other hand, great fighter, great skills, does a number of great things, but inconsistently. And it's that inconsistent that would make me want to pick Shakur Stevenson over Teofimo Lopez. Now, Teofimo Lopez, great fighter. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he can't do all the things that you would theoretically want to do to be able to beat a Shakur Stevenson. I just don't think he's at the same level as a Shakur Stevenson. I feel like a Shakur Stevenson would pick apart slowly, maybe fast if he did fought like he did in his last fight. But for the most part, slowly pick apart a Teofimo Lopez. And feel like that would be just one more thing, one more good name that Shakur could put on the old resume and start making a bigger and bigger name for himself, even though he should be a bigger name. He's just only a big name to the hardcore fans, not so much the casuals. So that being said, listen, I think it's a great fight. I hope they really do fight in there. If I'm being honest with you, I question if Teofimo really does want to fight Shakur Stevenson. We hear a lot of talk, obviously, from a lot of different people, but I don't think Shakur is just talking. I think Shakur really does believe he's that guy and he could beat Teofimo Lopez. I don't think Teo has that same confidence. We've all seen the videos of Teo asking his father, do I still have it? We've all seen a lot of these things that would make you think that Teofimo Lopez questions his own reality about how good of a fighter he is. So, I would have to pick Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is sure of himself, and not only is he sure of himself, he actually has the skills to back it up. While I do hope this fight happens, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But even if it did, I'm picking Shakur Stevenson to win. Whether he plays super defensively or he plays defensively but more action-packed like he did in his last match, I think Shakur has all the skills to be able to take this fight and win that fight between him and Teofimo Lopez. What do you think about that, my man?
Amidst all their back and forth, And to be fair, it was a match that I thought was a little baffling. Shakur actually got one in on Teofimo Lopez, saying that, look, we've been trying to talk to his management and trying to make this fight between me and Teofimo happening, and his management just basically said, no, we're not going to have the fight happen. Instead, it seems like the fight between Teofimo and Ryan Garcia seems to be, at the very least, in almost talks of finalizing. And it seems like that's going to be the logical step, the logical next fight for both Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez happening, is that fight happening. Now, again, I had my issues with the fight. If you go back to our previous video, I actually said, for Ryan's perspective, I don't think that this fight was logical as happening, because I do think Ryan should have fought Rolly first, but it seems like Golden Boy wants Teofimo to be the next fight. Maybe they think there's some more money in that, but at the very least, as far as Teofimo is concerned, it seems like at the very least he's kind of locked into this fight. So at the very least, Shakur at least has fuel to add to his argument that's saying, oh, Teofimo has been running all this time. Whether or not that you think that's what actually Teofimo is doing, the fact of the matter is Shakur actually has fuel to add to the fighter that, or fuel to the fire that Teofimo is running from, because he wants this fight as opposed to the fight against Shakur. And to be fair, I do think at the very least, Teofimo is pretty famous for being a habitual line stepper. Like, he just talks mad smack to basically anybody. And again, if you want to have your fights with everybody, be my guest. But my thing is, I think when it comes to talking smack, there can be times where you can bite off more than you could chew. Now, for Teofimo, he's been kind of lucky in that most of the people that he's been talking smack to, he at least got wins over. I do agree with you that at this very instant, the talking smack to Shakur Stevenson, I do think is gonna basically bite him in the ass, because I do think, as far as Shakur Stevenson is concerned, Teofimo might have bitten off more than he can chew. I do think the skills that Shakur Stevenson has just eclipses everything that Teofimo has. The style, the volume of output, the consistency that Shakur Stevenson has. I don't think Teofimo is able to basically have the skills to be able to beat this man. I think Shakur eclipses him in every single metric possible.
That's a fair assessment, man. And I actually do agree with you. Listen, I think Teofimo can be an explosive guy if the right Teofimo shows up. We've just talked about this in a separate video. But unfortunately, Teofimo is just so inconsistent, man. There's days where he shows up and he believes he's a superstar, and he shows it with his display of skills in the ring. And there's other days where he believes he's a superstar and he doesn't show one thing that would make you think he truly believes he's a superstar. So unfortunately, I gotta bet, if I'm gonna be throwing some money down on it, I gotta bet that the wrong Teofimo Lopez is gonna show up, because he's inconsistent, whereas Shakur is always consistent, like him or not. And again, I'll even say there's a lot of times where Shakur Stevenson fight is boring. I've said it plenty. Some people call me a hater, even though I constantly pick Shakur Stevenson to win. But the fact is, I'm not hating, I'm speaking facts. Just because y'all dick ride a boxer doesn't mean I'm going to dick ride a boxer. And the fact of the matter is, up until his very recent performance, Shakur Stevenson has been an extremely boring fighter. With that being said, I'm not going to, for once, doubt the fact that the man has skills and can usually bring it out against almost every single opponent that he faces. Again, in his most recent fight, he did phenomenally, and I gave him props for it. I said, hey, man, I was wrong. I said it at the beginning of this podcast, and I'll say it again. Yes, on a consistent basis, Shakur Stevenson is boring, but very last time he showed out. So I believe he's going to do something very similar. I feel like he's going to slowly pick apart a Teofimo Lopez, and I feel like because of that, he's going to win the fight. I don't care what Teo fans say. I don't care what Shakur fans say. I'm picking the man that I believe is truly going to bring the A game, and that is always Shakur Stevenson, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's boring or not. It doesn't matter how you feel. So, Shakur Stevenson is who I'm going with, and I believe that's the man that's going to take the fight. If the fight happens, again, keep in mind we're just two dudes. When I say two dudes, I mean Shakur and Teo. There's just two dudes talking shit right now, and there's no contract. There's nothing signed. It's just both of them saying, let's fight. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Hopefully sometime next year. The reason I say next year is because I think everything for this year is more than likely locked up. We're already in the final quarter of the year. We got a little bit more than a quarter. We'll call it 3-4 months of the year. So listen, it'll be interesting. I hope to see it happen next year. Hopefully sometime early, but we'll see how it goes. Again, I don't doubt Shakur Stevenson wants to fight. I doubt a little bit if Teo really does want to fight Shakur. But listen, let's hope it happens. Let's will it into existence, y'all. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.